Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Zimjin Time. I think this is episode 7, which means roughly I've been on the road for about 7 weeks. It's been a fairly awesome week, actually. So I've gone from Majete, which is it's a hidden gem, all the way through up into the Mulanje Mountains, through the tea estates, which I got horribly lost in after taking a back road, and then into Liwonde. So I've been here, I was meant to spend 2 nights, but I'm spending a third and then heading up to Monkey Bay, where I'm meeting up with a friend of a friend, but found out that Ralph actually went to school with my dad, which was pretty interesting. So looking forward to that. But first, gin and tonic time. It is Friday. A big thanks to our sponsor, Small Town Stills. Appreciate the support for this, so thank you very much. I hope you have all had a good week and productive, and you are looking forward to the weekend. So, yeah, it's been a good week. Lots of driving though. Some big, long trips. The one from Majete to Mulanje was particularly long. The reason is that I went on the back road, so I used Tracks for Africa and just followed my nose. Some of those roads I don't think have been used in a good 10 years or so. So very bad roads, but got there eventually. So I'll say cheers to that. Cheers to that. Happy Friday. Yeah, so unfortunately that also pushed my fuel consumption up to about 12.5 for 100 Ks. So I was very thankful that Ralph actually managed to get hold of a local farmer just south of Zuba, and I managed to get about 50 liters of fuel. So that's a good start. I've probably got 60 in the tank now and about 40 on the roof, so I'm probably short another 100. So I'm hoping to make a plan once I get to Liwonde, but pretty much every fuel station I see, I'm going to head up. It's quite interesting seeing all the fuel queues. Very much reminds me of Zim back in the day when we were queuing for fuel, and you put your truck there and you'd spend a couple hours, even overnight, in the truck waiting for fuel. So a little bit scary for the Malawians. Hopefully it sorts itself out. I did see a press statement saying that they were very aware of the situation and were planning and were trying to fix it. But with the border being closed up north from Tanzania into Malawi, there's apparently a lot of fuel trucks stuck at the border there. How true that is, I've got no idea, but that's what the press conference said, or press release says. So as I said, I got about 100 liters or so at the moment, but I'd love another 100. Make me feel comfortable, as I have to drive from here up to Monkey Bay to Liwonde, and then Liwonde I'll start heading up north towards Tanzania. And Tanzania is another story. From what I've heard this week, it's settling down a little bit. I believe everyone's going back to work Monday, so we will have a better picture of what's happening there Monday. But I will say, like, Majete, I know not many people probably know about it in Malawi. There is a runway, so if you got your private planes, if you're that lucky, then I'd definitely use it. Go into that spot. They've got a nice landing strip there. But it was the first AfriParks park or partnership that they came with, and it's just a beautiful little park. He said about 300 Ks worth of driving roads. It is self-drive, so you can drive yourself. So what I've kind of figured out is the best way to do it is actually do a game drive with the guides once right at the start of your trip, and then you'll get an idea of where everything is, and then you just drive yourself, and that helps kind of navigate gives your orientation, but then also just helps you kind of know where to go and what to look for and what the areas are. They are all, a lot of them are on radios, so if you do get sightings and stuff like that, you'll be able to go straight there. So generally they have a good idea where all the game is, so that's a good way to kind of figure it out. So go with the guide and then do your self-drive after that. The camp, very well laid out. It was extremely hot the couple of days that we were there, or the couple of days I was there, and not much shade, just because we are coming out of winter, so a lot of the trees don't have any leaves on them, so it was fairly barren and fairly hot. But ablutions were clean, hot showers, there were plug points, so for the umbilical for the truck was awesome, so I could charge up my batteries. And yeah, just a good amount of lion. I saw those cheetahs, which was just phenomenal. I think that is my first cheetah sighting in the wild, and to see one mum with 3 cubs was pretty awesome. And then the buffalo the next morning was also pretty special. Just being able to sit and watch those guys while I had my coffee was stunning. And then from there, as I said, drove up through the tea estates. Got very lost. Took one corner that I thought, or one turning that I thought was the right turning, and just ended up in the middle of this tea estate and just could not get out of it. So eventually I had to backtrack all the way, about half an hour drive back the way I came, to find that right road to get out of it. Once I got to the tar road, and if I'd gone the tar road the whole way out, it looked a fairly decent road. So you know, if you aren't feeling adventurous, there are the tar roads you can go. And then yeah, Mulanje, a big thanks to, well, I stayed at Africa Wild Trucks, which is a stop there, fairly basic setup, but they do have lodges, I believe, and you do get food and stuff. But I was in and out pretty much, just spent the night there. Next morning, drove around the tea estates again, and then started heading north to where I am now, which is Liwonde National Park. Again, it's part of the AfriParks program or network. And yeah, very nice accommodation. Well, again, I'm camping, so it doesn't, but great accommodation, clean, hot showers, wash up areas, toilets, showers, everything you need. It all got a little bright place at every little campsite as well, so that's quite nice. First night I met a UN soldier, which was pretty interesting to chat to. He's been in a fair few hot zones, as they call them, which is active conflict, and he's just come out of Somalia. But yeah, just an interesting guy, lots of stories to tell. I won't go into it because those are his stories to tell. And yeah, I went on the game drive the next day, saw plenty of animals. Still haven't seen the rhino, which is starting to annoy me, but maybe they'll come out tonight on the waterhole hole behind me. I did say that I was going to go and do this on the Shiri River, but I've been sitting in this at this watering hole for most of the day, and there's been a constant flow of game, and I just had a big herd of ellies come through, or a couple big herds of ellies come through, which is pretty cool. And then next week I'm planning, so tomorrow head up to Monkey Bay, stay with Ralph, who is, as I say, went to school with my old man, so good to get some stories with him. And then from there into Liwonde, and then from Liwonde I'm going to head up to another park on the northeast of Liwonde, which is on the west side of Malawi, or Lake Malawi, and I can't remember its name, but I will let you all know. I will share that little driving map, show you where I've been and what I've been doing. Cheers. And then probably from there just bounce east and west up to the Tanzania border. Whether I get all the way up there is the question to be asked. Hopefully make a call roughly on Wednesday next week to see whether I'm going to go into Tanzania I just spoke to a mate who's in Rwanda. He said there's ways kind of sneaking up the west side and just go up the west side rather than going into the east where it seems to be hot at the moment. But yeah, so a couple people have asked questions for my mental health and what I'm doing and how I'm dealing with what's gone on and my divorce and stuff like that. And I am not a very touchy-feely guy, but I do think that I need to address, or not need to address it, but I will address it. It was quite funny. I was chatting to my mum last night, and it was raining and it was miserable, and she was like, "Well, why don't you just come home?" And I've been thinking about that, like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose? And the purpose is that if I go home and I settle and I get ready and I get on with my life, I'm just going to replace my ex. I'm not actually going to find the original me, the confident me, the rugby player, the builder, the drone pilot, whatever. I'm just going to end up finding a replacement and someone to fill that gap rather than actually finding the person that I love. So this trip is giving me that opportunity to find who I am before finding someone to join and join my party, so to say, or share that party, or whatever you want to say. But I know it's not rocket science, but it did take me till yesterday to think of, like, why am I doing this? And it's exactly that. It's to be confident in myself and who I am, and not find myself, but rediscover, my joys, what I like to do and stuff, and then from there find someone who fits with me, instead of, just trying to find a quick replacement, because that quick replacement's not going to last, and then I'm going to go through this shit all over again, and that's not what I want. I do want a wife, I do want kids and stuff like that, but I want them with the right person. I don't want to just copy and paste into someone else's family portrait. I want to create that relationship first, and then go into having that family conversation and all that sort of stuff. But it's interesting. What am I doing to heal? I'm doing a lot of reflection, a lot of chatting through different scenarios in my head. Could I change things? Had I changed things, would it have worked? Would it have not worked? But also I journal, I write. So every time I get a little bit pissy, I pen and paper and just write it all down. I was never very good at having arguments. I get angry, as most people see red, and then you say stupid stuff, and it's detrimental. So instead, I would be quiet. I would listen to whatever the person was saying, and I'd go away and I'd write. But I'd write everything in my head, and then be able to articulate or go through it again and reorganize it and put it into actual constructive stuff, rather than just shouting and screaming, because I never felt that worked. So I'm doing a bit of that. I do have a fair few letters and stuff like that, but I feel like writing it down helps me process it, helps me get it out, and that's kind of what I'm doing to heal. I'm also trying to put bad energy in good places. So I could be drinking my life away, I could be running away from things, but instead I'm traveling, I'm experiencing new things, I'm creating my own character. And it's been a hell of a trip so far, and it's, as I say, you've got to find you before you can find you plus one. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And the other comment in that little blog that I wrote, and I would like to keep doing this, so if there are things that you'd like to know, give me a shout, give me a comment. I'll try to write it all down and bring it up to at the next convo. The other, I want to show the truck, and I will be doing that. I'm just trying to edit a video that I've done about the truck, about who did it, what was done to it, and how it all kind of comes together, things I would change if I would to change things. But yeah, I'm putting that together, so please bear with me. But yeah, other than that, sorry, the wind's gonna not help. But yeah, other than that, guys, I hope you had a good Friday. I hope it ends well, and I hope you get Zim Gin at the end of it. But awesome, guys. I think I will keep doing the coffee time. It seems people are engaging with it. I'll try and do a quicker and shorter version. I know a minute and a half is a little bit long, but I'm learning. As I say, I'm no IT specialist, so I'm just running with it and seeing what works, what doesn't work. So this seems to be working the gin and tonic time at least. So we'll see how the rest of it goes, guys. Okay, guys, have a great weekend, and we will see you for another video at some point during the week. Let's go Boca tomorrow. That's why I'm going up to Monkey Bay tomorrow, because I get to see, they have DSTV, so I can watch rugby. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. We'll chat to you soon. Bye.